Hi everyone, my name is Marco Hernandez and welcome to today's lesson on creating a dynamic runbook. In Enterprise Manager, Dynamic Runbook consists of a set of ordered steps that users execute to resolve an issue. They can be used for incidents or metrics. We will take a look at how you can create a dynamic runbook to triage the CPU utilization of a host. You can create a dynamic runbook for the CPU utilization incident, which occurs when the CPU metric crosses its alert thresholds. Or you can create a dynamic runbook against the CPU utilization metric to triage high CPU utilization before it crosses its alert thresholds. We will focus on the latter. A dynamic runbook is created in context of the incident or metric. In our example, we will create it against the host CPU utilization metric. So let's navigate to the All Metrics page of a host target and locate the CPU utilization metric. Now you can see a chart displaying the CPU utilization. On the right side of the page is the Runbook Sessions section. To create a runbook against this metric, select the Create Runbook option. This will open a new tab and start a runbook draft, carrying over the context of the metric, which you can see at the top of the page. Let's change the default runbook name to High CPU Utilization Runbook. Notice that Step 1, Overview and Prerequisites, was automatically generated. This is a special step meant to describe the purpose of the runbook and any prerequisites needed to successfully execute its steps. You can use Markdown language to format the text in this step. If you click the button with an eye in the circle, you can see a list of instructions for the Markdown language. Let's add the following to the Overview step. Use a $sign with Aura target name to reference the target of the metric. Aura target name is one of the runbook variables that contain the metric context. Putting 2 asterisks on both sides of the variable text make it bold. Notice that we have other runbook variables on the right side of the page. Runbook variables are populated with values from the metric details when a runbook draft is created and can be used as a part of a step definition. It allows you to define a runbook using these variables rather than hard-coded values, so that your runbook can be used not only on this host target, but on other host targets as well. Let's select Save Step to view the modifications to this text. Our Overview and Prerequisite step should now look like this. For Step 2, we want the user to review the CPU metric trend. There are 5 types of steps available: Note, Metric Data, Repository SQL, Target SQL, and OS Command. For this step, we will use the metric data step, which is used to show the time series chart for the specified metric. Our Step 2 title can be Review CPU Trend. And for the instruction text, I am putting Run this step to review the trend of CPU utilization over the last 24 hours. Let's now click on the time range field to modify the time shown in the graph. I am interested in viewing the metric between the past 24 hours and now. EVT_time represents the time when the runbook session was started, and you can specify a range of time relative to this time. Select Done. Now select the Run button to preview the metric data graph before saving the step. Once you have completed the steps, select Save Step to view the results. For Step 3, we want them to also be able to review memory. Therefore, we will create another metric data step. Let's enter the following title: Check if memory utilization is increasing. And let's add instruction text to say, run this step to see if memory utilization is also increasing over the last 24 hours. Now let's move on to changing the metric to memory utilization. Click the box underneath metric name. A pop-up box appears allowing us to modify the metric being observed. Click the Enter New Value button. A metric drop-down menu will appear. Click this box and select Memory Utilization, and then click Done. We will repeat the same actions we did for time range in Step 2. Now select the Run button to preview the metric data graph before saving the step. Once you have completed the steps, select Save Step to view the results. For Step 4, we want to show the top processes consuming the most CPU, and we also want the user to review the top processes, identify any process that is not needed that is consuming high CPU, and copy its process ID. For this step, we will use the OS Command step. Let's enter the following title: Check the top processes. And let's add instruction text to say, Run this step to see the top processes consuming the most CPU. If there is a process that is not required, copy the PID of the process you would like to kill. This step requires OS credentials to run the step. Click the box underneath named credential. In the value box underneath enter new value, add OS_cred. In our example, we are specifying the OS credentials that will be used for this step. You can also configure the step to have the user of the runbook enter his own OS credentials. Underneath command, add top-n1-b. Select the Run button to verify the OS command works. You should see a list of the top processes consuming the most CPU. Now click Save Step. For step 5, we will kill the process whose PID will be specified by the user. For this step, we will use another OS command step. Let's enter the following title: Kill process consuming most CPU if needed. And let's add instruction text to say, use this step to kill the process that is not needed. Add OS_cred to name credential. This credential will be used to run this script. Then change the command execution type to script. Now we can add a script to kill the process either by typing, pasting, or drag and dropping a script file. The script takes a process ID as a user input. We'll need to create a new variable for the input. We do that by clicking the Add Variable button on the right side of the page. Enter user PID for the variable name, process ID for the display name, and 1234 for the value used in this runbook draft. When a user is executing this runbook in a runbook session, we have two ways to populate the runbook variable. The value can either be specified by the runbook session user through user input, or the value can be provided by the author. Select Specified by the session user and click OK. Now click Save Step. Since we have finished creating and testing the steps of our runbook, we can publish this for use by others. To do so, navigate to the Runbooks link tab. This takes us to a Runbooks page with a list of all of my current drafts. Select the Actions menu next to the draft created. Click Publish, and then check the box to keep a draft copy, and then click OK. Thanks for listening to today's lesson on creating dynamic runbooks in Enterprise Manager.